Hi, my name is Karen Tingle, and I'm here to tell you the truth about your city government. My opponent, Everett Varney, tried to convince the public that when he left office that the city was in good financial shape. Well, that's simply not the truth. He further makes a statement that when he left the office there was $4 million in the bank. Well, that's true, but he forgot to tell you the rest of the story. So like Paul Harvey says, I'm here today to tell you the rest of the story. When I came into office in January 2007, it did not take me long to start looking at the financial problems and realize that the city was heading for a financial impasse. Varney said there was $4 million in the bank, but what he did not tell you that in January of 2007, the city's expenditures were exceeding the revenues by $3 million. In December of 2006, the expenditures were $15 million and the revenues were a total of $12 million. There's your $3 million difference. We were heading for disaster. In January of 2007, he left the office with no focus on the finance. Pretty much, that's the way he ran the whole administration. The very first thing I did was start to make adjustments in expenditures. There was no checks and balances anywhere in our departments, and when it came to spending money, they just spent it. I had to work with the department directors, let them know what was going to happen, and get their input on what the corrective measures needed to be. The first thing we did was to stop spending. We stopped everything that was not completely necessary. By the end of the first 6 months of my administration, we had put the brakes on the spending and started to correct that $3 million overrun. I was able to cut nearly $700,000 of waste from the budget in 6 short months. That's an unprecedented feat for the city of Georgetown, something really that the state and federal governments need to do as well. These steps were painful for many of those who work for the city, but they were also painful decisions that had to be made in order to keep the city surviving. I did what needed to be done. I did what was necessary. So to balance the remainder of the budget that year, 2006-2007, it had to be taken from the reserves. That $4 million that he said was left, well, nearly had to be cleaned out of the reserves to balance his budget. Now, what would Mr. Varney have done if he had been in office in January 2007? Would he have warned the public and the council that we were heading into the financial problems and made the corrections, or would he continue to think that everything was okay and let the city drain all of its reserves? While he was in office, thousands and thousands of dollars were wasted. I do not know what Mr. Varney would have done, but looking at his track record, it would appear that either he was not aware of the spending problems or he just did not care, because the city had to balance the budget on what was left in the reserves because of Varney had not prepared the city for the trouble that laid ahead. Now, I brought fiscal responsibility to the mayor's office. I watched the finances of the city very closely. It is my hope that you will once again allow me to continue being the mayor that you elected me to be. A conservative, responsible mayor who thinks of the city before she spends your hard-earned tax dollars. Thank you very much for tuning in with us.